All right, you're live.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's Power Hour. We are in week 27, so 27 straight weeks of doing Power Hours. So thankful for all of you to be here. Today is the continuation of yesterday's conversation. So the collaboration between the Native Wellness Institute, Center for Native American Youth, We Are Native, and Thrive. So I'm really excited for today. We separated multiple conversations to have through the week about keeping ourselves in balance, and today is about our physical well-being. And I'm really excited for the people that we have here to have this conversation with, just to have some dialogue. And if you have any questions throughout this entire time, please put them in the comments, and we'd love to interact with all of you and to just make this conversational between all of us. So I'll do my introduction, and then we'll popcorn it around, and we'll get right into it. So Naha, hello everyone. My name is Shailene Joseph. I work for the Native Wellness Institute as well as the Indigenous 20-somethings Project, and I'm really thankful to be here. I'm back in Oregon. I was in Tongva Territory for a little while there, helping out with some family, and so I'm back home, and which is good. And I see like these massive rain clouds outside my window, which we need here in the Pacific Northwest big time. We actually have okay air quality today, so I'm happy about that. I am Aani from Fort Belknap, Montana on my mom's side, and Koikon Athabaskan from Tanana, Alaska on my dad's side. And been working for NWI for a long time. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be here. And I will pass it over to Jean.
Hey everybody, it's good to be here. My name's Jean Tagaban. I'm the Tlingit, Cherokee, and Filipino. I'm of the Duckdainton, Raven Freshwater Sockeye from Alaska, child of a Wishkatan. And right now I'm coming to you from the Coast Salish lands of the Puyallup people down here in Tacoma, Washington. And it's really good to be here and to be on this panel. Thanks. Gonachish.
Michael, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yate, she Michael Charles Yuneshe, Bilagana Nishle Shihibashchin, Bilagana Dashche, Nakaidan Adeshanali. Hello, my name is Michael Charles. I'm currently calling in from Columbus, Ohio, where I'm wrapping up some school out here. I'm Navajo or Dene. Family comes from, was born in Arizona, and then my parents currently live in Colorado, and have kind of lived all across the Four Corners area. But yeah, I'm just happy to be here and enjoying a pretty sunny day here in Ohio.
Dash?
Yes, good Dash, everyone. Anyap Jigik Dash, Anakamir Autumn Javadamjet. Good to see everybody. I'm from the Salt River people. My name is Dash, and I'm one of the board members of the Native Wellness Institute and co-founder of Indigenous Wellness Initiative that we call Well for Culture. And Anyanki, I'm Phoenix. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, right outside of my community on Akamir Autumn, Salt River people, and just glad to be here and partaking in this important conversation about our health and wellness and how it's an important factor in our life.
Awesome, thank you. Howie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. I'm a language teacher, but right now I'm just home with my little one. But it's good to be here and to be talking with all of you. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Howie will be on and off the screen. We're having a little bit of connection issues, but I'm glad that all of you are here. I'm really thankful for the opportunity to spend some time with you all. This conversation is an important one for me, and throughout the week, we have a lot going on in the world, and finding ways that maybe we haven't heard of yet, or things that other people do that might work for us, is why I love these conversations, and in ways that we can stay in balance in such interesting times. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're still in the middle of a revolution. We are, some people are dealing with fires. I know here at my house, my grandparents were here for about a week because they had to evacuate. And so finding ways, I was gone the whole time, and I came home, and I had like new paint on my walls. Like my grandpa was finding ways for himself to stay in balance and to stay busy. And so, you know, doing all that kind of, you know, physical labor around the house is something that he loves to do. And so that's why I just love this conversation. And so I think, you know, we'll just hop right in, and the first question being, what does physical well-being look like to you? And how do you put that into practice? And we'll just do the same order. If Jean, do you want to kick us off with that question?
What does physical well-being look to me, and how, yeah, shoot, man. I think physical, to me, physical well-being as I age has changed. You know, when I was younger, I wanted to you know, I had this image of myself, what I wanted to be and what I wanted to look like, you know, and body fat and being in shape and everything. And as I age, I'm 56 years old now, man. You believe that? Holy, geez, that's why I'm growing this. I gosh, got to fit the part. And either that, I'm just getting lazy. Anyways, but it's just, for me now, it's more of a feeling. It's a feeling as I age. And that feeling is feeling, you know, being able to move, being able to walk, and being agile. And not only that, but being able to breathe. I'm a big time biker. I'm outside all the time, riding my bike. And so out there, I'm not really thinking about my physical appearance, of how I look, but are my lungs working good? And are my kidneys and my intestines, are they working good? And even as I ride and I'm outside, even walking, and how are my knees feeling? And if I'm out of alignment, they start to get sore. So I need to make an adjustment with that, you know. And just as far as like just that adjustment, it could be just a fine tuning of how I move. And I'm talking about biking, but even when I'm just walking down the street, you know, and I know when my knees are talking to me all the time, they're really important to me. And so they're like going, hey, you know, Gene, you know, we got to move, man. You just can't like be just sitting around and just walking. Like, let's get up and move. Let's get into the water. Let's do all these things, you know. And so I really pay attention to my knees, because I want to be functional. As I age, I want to be functional. That means I have to be able to move. And one of the things that my elder told me, he says, take care of the old man you're going to be. Take care of that old man you're going to be. You know, I really didn't think about it when I was younger, but now as I'm aging, I'm totally going, okay, I got to take care of myself, man. And that's what this, you know, and to be honest with you, I'm not really too worried about my looks, because if I'm feeling healthy, feeling well, my looks will be fine, man. You know, and because if I was worried about my hair is getting grayer, my hairline's getting back more, you know, I'm getting more wrinkled and stuff like that, but I'm getting older, man, and I'm digging it. I'm totally digging it, because that's me. That's our Indian way too, our native way. And I'll tell you what, as an older guy, man, I can still hang with some of these younger ones, and that's pretty cool, you know. But I just want to be functional, and a lot of that is not really about how I physically look anymore. It's about how I physically feel inside, you know, and really taking care of myself. You know, I have conversations with my lungs, with my body parts and stuff like that. I actually talk to them, you know, say, hey, leg, hey, arm, hey, liver, how you doing, man? You know, and just, you know, and that's my own hallucination, you know, and I love that hallucination, you know. And it's like, even when I'm out there doing like 100-mile bike rides. I'm like totally in communication with myself and the environment around me. So I can go on and on and on and on, but I want to hear everybody else's response.
Thanks for that insight, Gene. And I always love hearing when you give your insights on that. And I know we were talking about that last time in Hawaii last year around this time. Can you believe it was already 1 year ago? And so, you know, I agree a lot with the Gene. Oh no, I said that. But I agree a lot with Gene. Our physical wellness really is also, you know, connected to our mental and our emotional, our spiritual well-being, right? As we know that all these different states are like circles that overlap, and that when we are physically well, it's an indication too that we are stable emotionally, or our spirit is really connected, and that it's important that we do maintain functionality of our body, I believe, and being able to move our body. And I believe also that exercising our body to strengthen it for everyday activities and to be able to carry ourselves. I believe that moving the body is like a way to give thanks. It's like when we use our mind, when we put our intention in our mind about getting up and intentionally moving in the day, I believe that what we're doing is we're also sending a signal out to great creator that we're grateful for this body. And it kind of brings me into what Gene was talking about, when like Chelsea and I like to do something where we go and we give thanks to all of our functions, all the joints and the legs, and we give thanks to our heart, our ibadak, our heart, and our nyamaj, our liver and all that, our kidneys, and that it was told to me that those organs have spirit too. And like Gene talks about talking to them, and that's absolutely what we believe too, is giving thanks to those organs, giving thanks to our body, our haunch padag, our body, that we have the ability to move and do all these things. And so sometimes when I move my body, I think about those that can't move, those people that are struggling, that don't have the use of their limbs for whatever reason, or people that are struggling with the illness that is so prevalent today. And I think that when I move, I'm sending that signal out to somehow uplift those people's spirit. And so the movement is connected to our emotional well-being. And I love to move because it makes me feel empowered, it makes me feel happy. And I love to move because it strengthens my mind, it brings clarity, it helps my memory when I'm learning things like song or a language. And when I move, I'm moving for a larger cause. And so to me, that's the spiritual component to it. And so again, it like Gene says, sometimes in our generation, we get caught up on the looks, moving for aesthetics. Everyone wants to look good, but if we're moving functionally and for a good cause, all that's going to come with it. But I definitely embrace that too, like what Gene talks about. And I feel in really good health, and I'll be 39 in a few months, and I feel like I'm probably in better shape than I have been ever, you know? And so I will continue to do that as well. And I'll definitely embrace when my body starts to change, and my outlook towards physical wellness will certainly evolve with that as well. But those are just my comments on that. So I'd like to, pass it on over. Was it Michael next? Pass it on to Michael. Whoosh.
Thank you, Thosh. Yeah, I think physical well-being has kind of looked different throughout my life, but one thing has always been, it's always kept me busy. And I feel like I've played different sports, games, been outside running, whether it was on my own terms or my mom telling me to stop being so noisy around the house. And I think there's always been some sort of movement in every single one of my days. And I know as Dene people, we always have talked about kind of greeting the sun as you race it and run in the morning. And that's just kind of part of that physical wellness being embedded in our culture. And I think we see that across most of our native cultures, if not all, and kind of embracing that idea of being able to sweat and to kind of cleanse yourself and being able to kind of push your body to a limit in a way, but just challenge yourself. And I think you learn a lot of different things through those different challenges and those moments where you've been out there moving your body in a sport, either as an individual or as a team. And I think a lot of just my development as a person has come from different sports and different, just I guess different challenges and physical movements. And that's something I really celebrate and cherish. And I think what physical movement looks like really changes every day. I think right now it's kept me busy with being able to run long distance, and I play rugby out here in Columbus, Ohio. And we've also been able to kind of build some community around that. And one project we've been working on, it's been going on for about 3 years, but now we're really looking into organizing is as I mentioned, play rugby. And so we have a national Indigenous team now who's been able to play 2 or 3 international matches. And we're trying to come together and see what that really looks like to organize teams in clinics and bring a sport that's not really well known to a lot of our places, bring something new. And when we talk about kind of a physical sport, that's definitely up there in terms of high contact, high intensity. And it's so interesting because it's such a celebration that our bodies can even do that. As Dash was mentioning, it's giving thanks for what we can do and how we can use our bodies. And I was thinking too on what Jean was saying of making the choices that our elder self will appreciate or celebrate. And it might not always be the sport to do that. Might leave us with some soreness, but it's definitely something that's been a celebration of being able to use our body while we can. And that's something I've really enjoyed. And another thing we've been able to do and organize around is running, and have been able to participate in a lot of different runs. But recently we did our prayer run from Bears Ears National Monument to the Salt Lake City right outside the Capitol. And it's a 360-mile journey. And I think what was the most satisfying part of it wasn't really the run or the fatigue of it all, but was the challenge, but was the community. And we had 10 runners, and just being able to kind of talk about what running has done and just what this means to us in different ways, and learning about the things that were impacting communities or closest to each of our hearts was, I think, the most important thing. And there's a lot of different ways that comes out differently when you're able to kind of push yourselves to take on that journey together, rather than just sit and enjoy the meal, which of course there was many across the journey, but it's another way to kind of spend time in community. And I think that was really special to me. And so to me, a lot of this physical well-being comes from just one way to build community, and also just a way to celebrate our bodies and see what we can do.
That's awesome. Thank you. Howie.
Oh, okay. Hopefully I don't go out this time. It keeps shutting off, but yeah, physical health and well-being to me, I feel like I really agreed with what everybody said, and I wanted to add on to what Jean was saying about like more like appreciating your body and how, oh, oops, sorry, my baby is on me. Sorry, about when it comes to physical health, that it's not necessarily about what you look like, but about how you're feeling, and always listening to your body. I recently gave birth to my first child, and I was so grateful that before becoming pregnant that I was physically healthy. I guess I was always active, but in different ways. Like I did a lot of MMA training, and I was a language teacher, but we did a lot of things like going out on the land, like harvesting from the garden, or picking different types of medicines, which was like going for long walks and going out in the bush and doing different activities like that, which was a lot of physical activity. But throughout my pregnancy, I kept very physically active, but not to look a certain way after birth, but to feel good for me and my baby, and to kind of like have an easier labor to help her get her here in a safer safer way, and which really helped because it was a lot easier because of my physical health. Oops. But yeah, to me that's what physical health is more of not the way you look but how you feel inside, and appreciating yourself and your body and everything it does for you every day. But thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all. I think that's been, I mean, it's been a big reminder for myself is also just, you know, we only get one body, right? And making sure that, I mean, it's our home that goes everywhere with us, and making sure that it's as healthy as possible. I'd mentioned earlier that I was in California. My cousin has cerebral palsy, and so he can't walk or talk. And part of the reason we were down there was to help, you know, lift him out of his chair and just help our family out a bit. And it was my youngest brother and I, and we were talking about like, yeah, we can lift him. Like, you know, it's going to be good. Like, you know, thankfully we were in a place ourselves, you know, physically fit to be able to lift him, because he's 26, 27. So lifting him from place to place. But our aunt was laughing at my brother and I, because we would wake up in the morning, and when we were walking around the house, like trying to be quiet, it was the first day. My brother's 20 and his hip was like clicking. And so like everywhere he was going, he's like click, 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 click. And my aunt came out and she's like, geez, what's that noise? And he's like, dang it, it's my hip. I don't know why. And then like later that afternoon, my shoulder was like clicking. Like anytime I would reach for something, she's like, you guys are young, what's going on? And we were like laughing about it. But we started doing more stretches and really paying attention to what our body needs. And it actually started the conversation of like, not waiting for the worst to happen, but to stay ready for whatever may come our way. But in a good way, right? Talking about, you know, what are we intaking into our body, whether it's like food or drinks or whatever it may be. So I appreciate all of your guys' answers. I 100% agree. But that also moves us into the next question is, what does self-regulation look like? I think we're in a time where it is stressful and so much is happening all the time. What does self-regulation look like for all of us? How do we make ourselves feel okay or feel better? Whether it's an activity or something that you just do in your daily lives. So we'll do the same order. Jean, if you want to kick us off.
Self-regulation. I mean, it's just, for me, it's just listening to just this being. Like you said, this is, you know, like my uncle always told me, he said, we got not enough people doing their homework. We got to do our homework, and this is our home right here. We got to take care of our home. And this system is always talking to me. And it's up to me to listen to it. It's up to me to listen to this system right here that I came into this world with. I used to run a lot. You know, I used to run a lot when I was younger and such. And again, my system, I had to take a really listen to it. And so that's why I've always been a bike rider. That's why I'm riding bike more, you know, and swimming, doing some exercises that aren't so impactful on my joints, you know. And so it's really about, for me, about listening. And not only that, but even listening to my guts on the inside, my intestines, you know, and those, because all that part of it is about this self-regulation on, you know, on just your nutrition and your, you know, how you're feeling and such. You know, as Thosh said earlier, one of the things I truly believe about our physical well-being, that it is a gateway and a door to our emotional, mental, and spiritual parts of us too, as well. I believe that is that gateway, because for me now, it's you know, to pray. oftentimes people, we think that to prayer, we have to sit and we have to like get all spiritual and have the sage burning and this and that, you know, and then we're like all spiritual and this and that. But no, for me, like we, you know, Thosh and, you know, and Michael and Howie, we all, it's about movement is prayer for me. Movement is prayer. And when I need to go, like, especially in this time, deep prayer, I move. I have to move. And because when I get into that stage, you know, I'm just like really, my heart's pumping and I'm like going, I get into another state. And I totally get into that state of spirit. That state of spirit. And it helps me connect with so many things because it helps me become hypersensitive to things around me, to things, everything around me. And so that self-regulation, man, is just, for me, it's about listening, totally being aware and listening to this system that I have here, that I came into this earth with, and that I will go out of this earth with. Because one day this physical being here will be laid down to rest. And that will be the time where I will truly thank it and just go, thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I took care of you good enough in a good way as my spirit goes on that next journey. You know, and so so yeah, I have to really listen. That, I mean, for me, that's self-regulation, you know, all the time. And not only that, I have an amazing wife. I have to listen to her too. Because there's just because I have my blind spots, and sometimes I just get grumpy, man. Because as I don't know, and she just said, "Will you just get out of the house, go for a ride? Will you like go down to the water? Will you take the dogs for a run or something?" She would like just get out of the house, you know, because she knows that I need to move, you know, and so I have. So it's not only just myself, man. I've got to listen to my support system out there. And that's my wife is my biggest and greatest support system. And so I have to, because I don't know everything, man. I'm just a dude, old guy who's doing the best I can. That's all I can ask for, you know, so passing it on.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gene, and I can relate when we talk about one of the ways that we self-regulate too is to know when we've had enough of something and when we need to put it away, or when we need to step away, and when we need to, and what to do in order to help kind of regulate us. And I'm the same way. Like, I need to move, and that's just have always been a part of my personality. I have a hard time, even now, if you watch me, I'm here, I'm always doing something. I just can't sit. I need to be up. I need to be working with my hands, and I need to be, you know, like working in our field. If the field that we grow our food in is, you know, 15-20 minutes down the street, and we're building our home right next to it. But that's what I look forward to when I'm on my home is right there on our family's land, so I can be active and working in that, helping to produce that and foster that growth more thoroughly. And then you know, that's what I was talking about. Movement too is also moving our energy. We're directing energy. We have energy in us that wants to build, it wants to create. And sometimes we have too much of that energy. I say it's like our fire, and we have to give some of that away. We have to expend some of that. And there's a number of ways that we expend that through. We talked a little bit about movement. And that's, for me, that's a great way of being able to do that as well. But being able to even get out on the land, and whether it's to go out and forage for food or to hunt, or simply just get out to check out the land and get away from all the electromagnetic radio frequency that we are around. We live right here in Phoenix, but luckily we're, you know, 20-30 minutes away from being out on the res and being out near our river, near our mountains. And so for me, I like to be out there and be on those places. The land is part of a medicine that helps me to feel more grounded and helps to clear my thoughts. And I think it's just the medicine that the trees give off, and then the animals are operating at a different frequency, and we align with those animals too. And the smells, you know, and you go and you pick something off and taste it, and the sights, the beauty, what we hear, all those, and then our sixth sense, our spirit is sensing the energy. And those things for me help to ground me. And so I definitely need to be active, you know, building stuff, working, moving, doing something. And it's hard for me to sit in front of the computer and do things. And and that's just the personality. I'm kind of like your grandfather, Shailene, you talked about. That's how a lot of people are. And I think we need to accept that about certain people. They need to be active and moving. They have some energy. We need to get rid of it. There's many different ways that all of us regulate ourselves. But you know, and with Chelsea, with my wife, so those of you that know her, when Jean said, Ruby says, get out of the house, man, go. I wish she would say that to me. She would say, why don't you just go out to the river? Why don't you go out to the mountains, get out of here? You're all cranky. Because I get like that too. I'm like, man, you know, and again, it's because it's this the pent up energy that we have to release. And so a number of ways that we release that movement, getting sleep if we need it, meditating, mindful breathing, many different styles of movement, sitting down, meditating, sitting in silence, singing, you know, dancing of some sort of ways that we help to really regulate that. We burn our medicines, use our medicine that helps. So for me, that's just a little bit about how I like to regulate. And sometimes I fall off of that, you know, and I remind myself like, well, you're feeling like this because you haven't regulated yourself. You haven't taken care of yourself right. And that's why you're feeling angry or anxious or upset about what's going on in society or what so-and-so said on Instagram, you know. But that's it. That's how a little bit about how I regulate. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I think that regulation, as everyone has kind of mentioned, when you have that kind of high energy and just kind of need to go move, I think that's one way where we see that. And I was definitely the same type of person kind of growing up, was just the kid with way too much energy who just always had to go run. And it kind of started off with just my mom doing it as a way to get me in less trouble, both in the house and at school, and started very quickly realizing that we were running as a family in these races, and I was the only kid at like 4 or 5 years old running 6 miles or 10Ks. And then it realized it was like actually some sort of gift, and was able to kind of turn it into something to celebrate more than like a punishment. So I think that was an interesting way to kind of develop my kind of love for running and sports and all these different things. But I also have a hard time turning that switch off and having that ability to tell myself to kind of stop. And I think one example of that was this summer during quarantine. Is once for us, we had we were able to kind of go back, and we have this small gym that has maybe 10 members in it, and we were able to open it up and start having workouts again in the morning. And we were starting to have kind of these rugby conditionings where we were outside in the field, spaced out across, and we were running, and it was super hot out and humid, and I wasn't really taking care of myself, and kind of went from 0 to 100 real quick, from kind of staying quarantined inside the house for a couple months to now's my time to get outside. And I had pulled my hamstring. I was having a hard time kind of staying hydrated. I wasn't getting enough sleep. It was not really being able to understand when to turn the switch off once it was kind of, I was able to do that again and move outside. But I think it's just important to, as Jean really focused on, is just being able to listen and figuring out when it's time to sleep, when it's time to take a day off, when it's time to move because you're getting antsy or cranky in the house. And I think that's all just very important. And I think one thing that also really helps me is as someone who is really busy in academia and constantly on my computer, constantly having to kind of sit through meetings, is running is when I go out for those like long times, it's really the most time I have in my day by myself to just kind of sit with my own head, to think, to sit in silence if I need to, or to just listen to whatever's outside. And one thing I have noticed a lot of now that I kind of live in a little bit more the area, but it's a lot harder for me to go on longer runs now in kind of a city and learning to listen to what's a different environment versus kind of used to kind of mountain trails. And especially when I was out in Colorado and when I lived in Utah, I would leave and was able to run for hours just running along different trails and just enjoying that kind of outside and not thinking as much about the run. And it's a lot harder to do, I found, when I switched up my environment to more of a city area. But that's definitely something I'm learning, and I think a completely other environment that is worth learning to listen to and to live in. So I think it's taught me a lot of things in terms of kind of how to adapt, how to become humble. I think it's always interesting when you kind of you're feeling like you're kind of at the top of your fitness and you're in shape, and then you find someone or something to push you to another level where you kind of breaks you down again. And I think that's one thing that's also really interesting about fitness or different sports or running or lifting weights, is that there's always something that's going to be more difficult and always the next challenge, that you can never get too comfortable sitting on top or in some sort of success in a way that's can be really good and healthy, and in a way that keeps you humble and enables you to kind of pass on like grace to other people as they're learning. And I think that's something that's really interesting about a lot of these communities, and that are rooted in kind of this wellness and fitness. So yeah, I think that self-regulation looks different kind of every day, and just, yeah, I'll go back to what Jean said, and just being able to really listen is I think the most important part of that. Pass it on to Howie.
Cool. All right. So to me, for self-regulating has been very different for me for the past few months, I guess you could say, because well, it's looked different because over the past few months I was pregnant, but I was still physically active. You know, I was still able to do certain things, go for long walks or go for runs. And I realized that my life was sort of based on being physically active and being outside for the majority of the time. And now, over the past few weeks, now that my daughter's a month old, I had to really slow down. So like my whole routine and regulating was like totally different from what all the things like I had known before, because now it's like, now what I was used to of being so physically active and being outdoors and doing all of this, it was, now I had to learn a new way of regulating my life, which is slowing myself down and slowing my life down a little bit to be home to take care of my body and to take care of my daughter's body because of her journey of getting here too. So we're both adjusting to our new way of life together. So my new regulating is just kind of just slowing down and just being here, like right now in this moment of I don't know, all the new little things that we have to learn to do. So right now it's just being here right now and being more patient with myself and my body. And yeah, that's all I have to say for that.
Oh man, I think that's so important. That last thing that Howie said is this learning in a new time, right? I didn't give birth. I'm probably like the only person in the crew not to give birth to a child, but right, this, I think coming into this pandemic, like my life in general was like very much go 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 go, like on to the next community, and then to like a really hard stop, and finding those new ways to find what our new normal is, right? I think a question that we had, and maybe Thosh, if you could do an exercise with us, is someone asked, what can we do if our bodies are not mobile? What are the things that we can do here sitting together? If you wanted to run a quick exercise with us.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can be done. So that's a good question. Somebody asked, what can we do if we're immobile, we can't move very often or stand up too long? And so it's definitely important to be able to find ways and modify your movement routine based on your body and your needs, and or what your space that you have, or the time that you have, or the equipment that you have. And so one thing that can be done is what is that? Oh, I got a package outside. One thing that we can do is we can start by sitting at the edge of our chair if we're able to, and we can sit nice and upright. And if you can see where I'm at right here, I'm sitting nice and upright right here. Sitting nice and upright. If people are able to do that, they can try that with us. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 7 deep breaths. We're going to breathe in our nose, and then we're going to push all that oxygen out of our mouth. And when we breathe in, we're going to imagine that we're taking in all the elements. We're taking in all of the beautiful sunlight. We're taking in the wind, Mother Earth, all that air, all these gifts that come in, and it's filling up our body from head to toe, going to our lungs, our heart, brain, all that, liver, organs, all the organs. When we exhale, it's just coming off of you. Any kind of unneeded stress or energy is going to come off us. So we'll take our first breath in 3, 2, 1, breathing in your nose. Exhale when you're ready. You can put your tongue at the bottom of your mouth as well too. Another breath coming in. Here's our third, breathing in. Exhale, we're taking in oxygen, all the gifts, breathing in. And we can relax our hands, relax your shoulders. Fifth breath coming in. Exhale. Here's our 6th coming in. 7th is our last breath. Breathe in, big air. Exhale. And we just kind of shake a little bit and give thanks for our body, give thanks for that breath that we taken in, that air. Imagine that that air came in all right here on top of our head, all the way down to our toes right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply raising up right here, our arms. And what we're going to do is we're going to look up, and we're going to look past our ceiling, and we're going to see that sky right there. And you're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to pull some of that down into you. So you're pulling that energy up from above into you. So take a deep breath in and exhale and pull. And as you do that, kind of like even pull it down into you, press into your chest, and bring your arms back up. Stretch them, flex even. Breathing in, grab, and exhale and pull down. Good. Let's just circle our head too. Sitting nice and upright, circle one direction. Depending on how you're feeling, you can do it with energy, or you can do it more relaxing. Switch and go the other direction. And as you're doing this, use your mind to connect. Use your mind to connect with your neck there. And then we're just gonna roll. We're simply just gonna roll our shoulders. You're just doing this right there. And again, now we're using our mind to connect with our shoulder there. So you're giving thanks even for that shoulder and its functions, what function that you do have of it. Keep your breath going too, in your nose, out your mouth, because we're sending oxygen to all of our muscles and everything in those areas. Then you're just gonna go ahead and raise your elbows up too. Now we're gonna just bring that one arm straight up right here. And let's see if we can use this arm to kind of twist. And you see how I'm kind of bringing it across me? And I'm just gonna twist and look behind me and get like a little nice twist in your thoracic spine. Try to look behind you. Reset, facing forward again. What we're gonna do is left arm comes up right here. Left arm comes up, that right arm goes across and goes on the left side of your leg here. Take a deep breath in and exhale and bend. Rotate, look behind you. Now we can kind of do that same thing. We're just doing tempo. We're just going like this over and over. Really twist your spine, look behind you. Good. Now the next one we're gonna do right here is we're gonna go over to, if we've been sitting a lot. So for those that use the office a lot, you're gonna extend, sit at the edge of your chair, and you're gonna extend, see how my leg is extended at an angle and it's straight. And what I'm doing, all I'm doing with this one right here is I'm gonna bring my chin bending at my hip towards my knee without trying to bend my back, okay? So you're just alternating. You're just going back and forth, nice and easy. You take a deep breath in at the top, exhale, and you want to get that nice dynamic stretch in your hamstring, and then you could switch sides. This is a good one to do if you're sitting, because it is said that if we sit for long periods of time constantly, that our hamstring gets shortened, and so we want to keep those nice and even. It's a good one for elders or people who can't get up much. Good. You're just ending it with our energy or air. Big breath, big breath. A lot of friction, pushing your energy into your hands right here, getting our warmth right here, and just coming all over our body. Feel your own power and just kind of give thanks, for what we have, our health, and you can kind of feel your own power right there and reminded of our power that we have. Power that no one can take away from you. I always tell people, like, no matter how hard or how many times you've been hurt by somebody, that power, that spirit that we have, or ibaduk that makes the heart function, it can't be taken away from us. And so we can use that power to do things in our life. We can use that power, that gift to move and expend energy when we need to. If we need to move weight, or if we need to move our body from one place to another, we use that power, that gift. Or when we want to help heal people, we use that gift to that power as well. But that's just a little movement that we can do while sitting, and hopefully that was useful of somebody somewhere.
Awesome. Thank you, Tash. I was like clicking in the beginning and now I'm not, so I'm happy about that. Our time went quick, and so we're gonna skip to our very last one, and also what I think is one of the more important ones, or just as equally as important. But if you have a message to either your younger self or to the youth today, to carry forward, what would that be? And Jean, again, we'll start with you.
I've had a message to the youth, myself, and younger parts of me. It's like, well, for myself, I just, if I was talking to my younger self, I'd just be going, dude, you could have done that. You could have made that extra, bike ride. You could have done that extra 100 miles. You're young, brother. Do it and take it while you got it, man. You could do that. Go climb that mountain. Go enjoy yourself. Get some air. I would have been telling myself just to really just get in. Take off your shoes more, man. Take off your shoes more. Walk outside. Get in the water more. And just be aware of everything around you, because we've been talking about physical awareness now, physical being, but it's so much in just movement, but just to get outside and feel the air. Just feel the air, just the gift of breathing. That's, if you want to self massage yourself, deep breaths. And if I was going to talk to the younger generation now, it is take care of that old person you're going to be. Be really aware. Take care of that old person you're going to be. Go out there, play rugby, run, do all those things right now, but do it and be mindful. How do you move? How does your leg move? How does your elbows, your shoulders move? Be mindful of how you move, of how you do things. Take care of that old person you're going to be. Because as you get older, things are going to shift. Things are going to shift. If you want to eat stuff right now, eat it. Because when you get older, you're not going to be able to do it. You just can't do it. That whole pizza that you used to be able to eat, promise you, man, you just can't do it when you get older. I had to really adjust my eating habits when I turned 40 and really take a look at that, how I was eating and intake and stuff like that. So take care of that old person you're going to be.
Yeah, that's good advice and good insight. And I think that what Jean is saying right there too, it really teaches young people that it's important to think ahead and have that generational thinking, and think about what kind of elder do you want to be? What kind of parent do you want to be? Think about the decisions that we make today with our physical health, and And every decision in regards to our physical health is either feeding disease or it's breaking that cycle of lifestyle diseases that are so prominent in our native population and as a result of colonialism. And what I would also remind the young people is remember that young people, you are sacred. You're sacred, even though that people don't tell you that every day, that you're sacred. You have a gift, you have the power. And practicing wellness is one way for us to live a life of purpose and to uncover our gift if we don't know what that gift is. We practice opening our mind and opening our consciousness, then we start to learn, we start to be put on the path of finding out what our gift is and what is our purpose in this world. But everyone has one. Everyone has one. Even people out there in the world that are sick, and even people out there that perpetuate racism and perpetuate, social violence, they have a purpose, but they've lost it. They just haven't found it, and everyone has that purpose. Everyone has power. It's about really finding that. So I want to encourage young people out there to be patient with yourself and to just to know that even no matter how hard it seems, it's you have that purpose, you have a gift and power, and one day you'll use it if you live a good life and try to follow your original way you were, which you came into this world, because everyone was born with love. We don't learn to hate unless it's been done to us. So we can just dig deep to find what's truly in our heart and act in that way. So that's what I would say.
I think what I would have to probably say is, I think it would definitely be to continue challenging yourself and try new things and focus really on the process over the result. And I think for me, when I think back of even just when I was a bit younger, and I remember I was so focused on, for me, it was football in high school, and I'm so focused on kind of winning games, being the best quarterback I could be, or whatever it was, trying to get that football scholarship, trying to get recruiters to look at me so I could play. And I remember my senior year, I broke my ankle right before the start of the season, and that was a big weight that was thrown on me as a 17-year-old of trying to figure out, okay, what have I learned from all these years of playing this sport if it was not meant to go on to another a different step. And so it was a lot of reflection and trying to really think about what is everything else I've grown in and learned from the sport, even if I can't play it right now. And luckily the story turned out that I was able to kind of get back on my feet and able to play in college, but it was definitely not the outcome I was looking for. And so being able to think about all of the growth and the development should stick with you, whether or not you can continue to play that same sport or move in the way you were. So yeah, I'm going to go with keep challenging yourself, try something new, and focus on that process.
Okay, I'll go now. If I had a message for the youth, actually, for the youth, and for what I would say to my younger self is to just to love yourself, I guess. I think when I was younger, I could have loved myself a little more, and to I never really pursued a lot of the things that I really wanted to do or loved. And I think that a lot of youth have a lot of opportunities to do certain things and enjoy a lot of I guess the hobbies that they work with or the type of schooling they're in, and that they should just continue to do or strive towards what they love most, and don't listen to negative things that people have to say about what they love doing, and just to work hard and do their best in what they love. Yeah, that's all.
Awesome, thank you. I'll give mine. I think an elder and mentor of ours, I've been thinking about this a lot lately in the last few months, is that, and we have so many new babies in our crew, right? Babies come into this world as these sacred little bundles and beings, and they're important, they're valued. And same when elders come into a space, we want to also take care of them because they are precious beings, and that nowhere in that life cycle do we lose that preciousness, and to hold on to it. And like that was mentioned here, is that there are things that happen to us that make us be a certain type of way. And if these things are true, that if we are precious, that means that that other people are precious as well. And if they're acting a certain type of way, that's their own hurt. And to understand that, and I think it's an important thing, because we see so much hate in the world, but that's their hurt. And to hold on to who you are, and if you're still figuring it out, that's okay. It's okay to figure things out along the way, and find the mentors that you want to be like in your life, and ask the questions that you want to ask, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I think those are my big ones that I myself even have been focusing on a lot more lately, and to have value in yourself, because you are important, you are worthy of good things, and you belong here. No matter what anybody else has to say, you belong here, and you have value, and you are loved. And really quick, if anybody wants to ask or answer this question, it just came in. What can our foster youth today do to stay active and connected to community and culture? If anybody wants to answer that one.
A big part of that too is just to get connected with nature connection, because our ancestors are always there and about listening, and and hang in there. I want to say is just hang in there, because you're going to be an adult soon. Time goes by really fast. It goes by really fast, and so hang in there. Time could be, you can be going through hard times, but you'll make it. Hang in there, because you are sacred. You're valuable, and we honor you. So get out there, get connected to nature, get connected to the water, that morning sunrise, because all this, that sunrise, the blowing of the wind, the water, the river, the rain, all those things are the same things our ancestors experienced, watched, listened to. And those will never change. Those will never change. And so go out there and get connected, nature connection, take your shoes off, and then one day keep asking the question, I want to learn. One day the teacher will arise and will come into your life. And then one day you might be 56 years old and you'll become the teacher, because somebody's going to come up to you and ask you, how can I get connected to my culture? I live in foster care. How can I get connected? And you'll be able to answer them with your experience, because it's your story and you'll have a story to tell them.
Yeah, thank you, Gene. I want to add on to that too. And with children in foster care, that's a really important for them to stay connected to community, right? But I want to also echo Gene's comments about getting out on the land. Get out on the land, even if they don't know anything about the land, even if they don't know teachings, as long as they're getting out there in a safe place, and sit in silence. Listen, use your hearing, use your eyes. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you think about this place? And express it and talk about it with one another, and talk about your experience there. And the reason why we would do this is because the land has shaped our ancestral teachings. The land has shaped our culture. And then from there, they can start to learn about what are the foods that we harvested during this season, during this time. What are the animals? What are these plants called? What do we call them in our language? Start to learn those sorts of things, and the basics of who we are is the lands that defines us. And whoever is running the foster care program can look into, they can do outreach in the community to find out who are the people that are doing the social gatherings when we're able to have those again. I know with our family, when we have social gatherings, when we go and sing the social songs and social dances, we always let the foster care know, even if not the parents are non-native, we still would let them come, because the children that they're taking care of in foster care are from our community. So we want them people to learn that. So I would encourage people to try that as well.
Thank you, Thosh. And I just want to add on to it is that, just alcohol and drugs, they'll numb you out. And sometimes as we're healing, what we're talking about here is healing. And the alcohol and drugs, you want to numb yourself out, but be physically active. Run. You run so hard and you'll get that feeling, man. And you'll take you to that place. And again, our physical activity is a doorway to our mental, emotional, and spiritual beings of who we are. That's just, you got to just, as you young people, you have that gift of movement, of youth, and to use it. So thank you.
Yeah, I think something that I would like to add is that when you hear about Native people or an Indigenous people, you hear about the historical and intergenerational trauma. And that may, ring true, but that also means that there's historical and intergenerational wisdom, and give power to that. Give power to the good things that we have in our communities and the good things that all of us inherently hold. So with that being said, that is our time, and it was a quick hour. And I appreciate each and every one of you who joined us today. Thank you, Jean, Michael, Thosh.
Gonna choose.
I have so much gratitude for all of you for joining in this conversation, and for all of the work that you guys do individually. I have a lot of love for you, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you all, and I hope that you can join us tomorrow. Tomorrow's topic is caring for our emotional health. This whole week is really focusing on how we can best be in balance in all times, and really focusing on the value that each and every one of us hold inside, and that we'll continue to carry forward. So thank you all, and we'll see you next time.